All right, let's jump over and talk about the media. So now that we know who we're talking to, we know what we're going to say. How do we talk to them? How do we find these people, right? Now, for everything you do online, and of course, we're talking about digital related stuff here, your website really is the hub of everything you do. No matter what kind of promotion you're doing, even TV commercials nowadays have a link right back to your website. Or even if they don't, people still go to the web and look up the company that they just saw on the commercial, right? So having your website is by far the best thing you can do. But not just having a website and not just having a pretty website, but having a website that actually converts people into visitors. So Shaded Window Coverings says, how do you feel about TV commercials? TV commercials aren't bad. We have some clients that do them, especially around the holidays. We have clients that do them throughout the year. There are some tricks with those. You probably should run them back to a landing page of some sort. So Shaded Window Coverings /TV or something. Maybe there's a special offer that only TV people see or something. The other thing that would do is that would track people that actually landed there. You would have a special phone number on the TV ad so that if anybody called that number, it went to your regular line, but you're able to track that as well. So the trick with TV is it's kind of like billboards. You know it's there, you think it's working, but there's not a really good way to track if it's working or not. You can ask people when they call, but that doesn't mean they're going to be honest, right? In most cases, people don't get what we call touched. There's not one touch and somebody calls you and converts. It could be, in most cases, most of the things that I read now, 12 to 20 touches from a business before somebody engages with them. That could be social media. They looked you up online. Maybe they saw your Facebook retargeting ad. Maybe they saw your TV or your billboard, all these different things, all these different touches. They got an email from you or something like that. So TV is one of those pieces. If you have the budget to do it, that's good, but it's hard to track, I think, is the biggest thing there.
Well, can I tell you what I just did? So
Yeah.
I'm gunning for this trip with Graber.
Okay.
Through American David's company. And I went from 3rd to 5th, and they're only taking the 5th. Now I just dropped to 6th. No. So I put out my social media video about my response time, and then I put in bold letters, call me this week for the deepest discount you're going to get. And what I'm doing is actually only going to mark it up 20%. And I tell them that 20% markup, 1 week only, call me now. Let's get you in. And I booked 4 appointments.
Wow, so, that's awesome.
Because being that close and working hard this year, I really want that trip. So yeah. It's working, but my videos are really making the rounds on LinkedIn. I went and had professional videos done, and they're really good. But it's my social media following on my personal page on Facebook, and it's turning things around because they know me, they trust me, and they're getting a deal. And people are calling saying, hey, we were going to wait for this, but can you come? So I'm leaving right after this.
That's awesome.
You guys talk about deals, and every advertiser, we spend a lot of money on advertising. They always want a call to action. And I've struggled with that because I always feel that's also super unethical. It's just ridiculous to me personally to offer 30% off, 40% off, 60% off, 99% off, because what are you really doing? You're not Costco, you're not Walmart, you're a person that knows your costs. Do you just make less money on those? And then what if they don't say they saw a coupon? Do you try not to give them that percentage off, or do you just give them that percentage off to everybody? And then what do you think about discounts? I've never liked it. I hate it. We just say lowest price up front.
If I can say, Robert, what I do is I am, if they don't mention the code, they're not getting the discount. I'm not real gimmicky like that. And I'm just doing this for a few days, for a week, and it's mostly some really close friends and family that are doing it. But yeah, if they don't mention it on all my posts, that if you do this, like when I advertise in print, they have to say like Clipper Magazine, clip. If they don't mention that, they're not getting it.
No, I get that, but then you do that at the sale, and then you go to install it, then they end up seeing it and they say, well, did you give me a discount? It's like, well, no, because you didn't mention it. And then you're in a bad situation, then it's awkward as hell. And they're like, well, this is crap, blah, blah, blah. I dealt with that years ago and I never wanted to deal with it again. So we
Yeah.
literally
That
stopped.
hasn't happened to me. So
We
If
have
it
clients
does.
that go both ways with it. We have some clients that offer discounts like Renee, and we have other clients that never offer discounts. And Robert, maybe you're in that camp, because, maybe in their mind, it cheapens the overall value of the deliverable. So I think there's both. I think there's room for both. And it comes back to the avatar. If you're looking for an avatar that's looking for a little bit of a deal, then it works out, right? If you're only doing really high-end stuff, then, well, they still might be looking for a deal, of course. But you could probably stick to your guns a little bit better and not offer a discount, and, not compete on price. You're never going to win competing on price for sure.
No, it's just tough when I'm in every magazine in Phoenix, every home improvement magazine, and there's probably a handful that are always in the same ones, and they always have 20% off shades, 30% off awnings. Come to the showroom and get additional 5% off. And it's
Yeah.
like, so their call to action, of course, the consumer is going to want to call them, but me being in the business, I look at those ads. If I'm looking for a garage door or my roofing repaired, I'm not going to call the guy with a discount, because I know they're just going to inflate it just to take it right back down.
Right.
Unless they are really making less money for you. Why? I don't know. Maybe they,
Yeah.
I just struggle with call to action. I just don't know what to say besides free installation or no cost quote. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. So for, there's a reason that Walmart and Nordstrom both exist, right? Again, it's a different audience for, what they're looking for. So I think there's room for both. When it comes to call to action, what I'm really talking about when it comes to that is more along the lines of, like you said, Robert, what is something on your website that gets them to take action, to move to the next step? It doesn't have to be, 10% off. It could just be like, this particular one, schedule your complimentary in-home appointment, right? It could just be, here's what's to do next. In this case, there's a couple of them. They've also got the chat widget down here. So it gives the customer an obvious next step, right? It gives them something to do. And it doesn't have to be a sale. It could just be schedule now, something like that.
When they do that, and there's business owners here, do you guys literally mark, like they call you and say, hey, we got your ad in the Clipper, it shows 20% off. Okay, John's the salesman put in his notes, hey, they got the coupon, mark it up 20% to take it back down 20, because what your costs are. Is that what people do, or do they really just lose an additional 20% on that job because they called on Clipper?
So I could touch base on that because I do some discounting, but I'm also new in the business, but I've been doing this for 12 years. I know what my direct competitors' costs are and things like that. I mean, I know what my costs are, and I run promos in a Valpak, which is like a mailer, and it always says, 30% discount, but I know that it covers my costs because I discount off retail. So, I mean, the margins are there where I want them, but the customer sees a 30% discount. So, I mean, I'm at like an 85, 86% close rate through the start of my business. And I have 5 stars and customers are happy and I'm getting referred. So,
but had they not said that, do you have a different formula? Do you have a different CRM code that you're going to type in when you do 14 blinds that are 60 by 60 basswood mahogany, or like I struggle with that. I don't know, back before when you had paper, yeah, you just kind of, oh, I know what my quote is, and before you write it down, you do a little calculation.
So, I mean, I still do old school where I go off the vendor's price guides, and, it shows their retail price. So then I discount off the retail price. So I'm not the fancy person that's, using those programs that you just put the measurements in, put the codes in, and that's your price.
Yeah.
So I know what my prices are. Sometimes, like with automation, I might inflate the price a little bit more because it can be more of a pain in the neck, but the customer sees a 30% discount and they get excited about it. So
You go to those people that call you off a 30% discount, or do you take a loss on those? Do you take a 30% profit loss on those jobs that say that?
Sounds
I don't
like-
consider it a loss because I'm still making over 50%, 55% margins,
Okay.
even with the discount.
even with the discount.
So your normal price is just super high to where you can afford to drop it that much.
Yeah, I mean, if you go, I don't know if you guys use like Graber or Alta or Lafayette or anything like that, or Hunter Douglas. I don't really do it with Hunter, but I go off of, their retail pricing. And that's typically, like a 66 or 68% margin. And I think to me, that's kind of ripping off the customer.
Yeah.
But Hunter Douglas is, 50% margin typically. So why wouldn't you sell all your other vendors that are cheaper than Hunter Douglas at a 50% margin?
Well, somebody's 55% margin could be different than the next if they have a 10,000 square foot warehouse with 30 installers and, workman's comp and liability insurance and.
Oh,
gas.
certainly. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's
Yeah.
when you start getting into the net numbers and all that. But, I'm kind of running the shows myself with a part-time employee now. So I'm able to discount a little bit more to get my name out there.
Good conversation. Yeah, good. Yeah.
But it seems like you're also a lot more established.
Yeah, we've been around. We don't do any interiors. We just do exterior roller shades and awnings in the Phoenix market. But yeah, we've grown to be one of the biggest here, and I'm just struggling. That's why I'm joining these groups, because it's like this year's been kind of tough. Sales are down 50%, and I'm averagely spending $110,000 a month in advertising. And that same dollar amount for the last 5 months is netting me half of what it used to. So yeah, I know people are spending like they used to, COVID killed everything, but this is going back to pre-COVID. We're doing worse numbers than pre-COVID now. So I'm trying to figure out what message, I don't know.
Robert, let's jump on a separate Zoom if you want after this, and I'm happy to kind of go through some different ideas with you.
Okay.
And see, we could probably get Ryan on as well to talk about how he does it. So
Okay, I'll let you keep going.
yeah. No, I appreciate the conversation. It's fantastic. So
Okay.
Back to the website. Another thing that is really good is what we call a lead magnet, or something that obviously attracts leads to your business. The one thing with this is we have to understand that everybody that comes to your website is not in purchase mode, right? If 100 people come to their website, 100 people are not in purchase mode. A lot of people might just be in research mode, right? They might just be kind of doing some sort of a discovery around what they potentially could have. And I know that's true because for a lot of our clients, their galleries are the most visited pages on their site. So people are going through and looking at all these pictures and just, I guess, dreaming about what's possible for their business. So for those kind of people, having something in place that provides value to them in exchange for them providing value to you could really help. So one thing that we do, this is a client that we do a free design guide. So put your email in here and we will send you a design guide, that tells you all about different styles of windows and our different products and stuff. What this does is, especially for those research mode type people, it gets their information and you can, get them subscribed to your newsletter, and then you can stay top of mind with them. So having that design guide, is a great way to do that. There are all kinds of other lead magnets out there, but having something that makes the most sense for people that are not in purchase mode. If they're in purchase mode, they're going to read a couple things and then they're going to call, or they're going to click the schedule an appointment button, right? So having something for all those other people in place can really help as well. Next, are there tracking mechanisms in place so everybody knows about Google Analytics, for instance? That's kind of a no-brainer to put that on your site. But what other things can you do to know, of all the money you're spending, is it working, right? There's a famous quote, 50% of the advertising I do works great. I just don't know which 50%, right? So having something in place, and especially in the digital realm, you can track everything, which is awesome. Between Google Analytics, having some sort of a lead source tracking system. This is a screenshot from ours called Lead Boomerang. So we have a tool that tracks every single lead that comes in for our clients, no matter where they come. And you're able to go backwards and see what they did to engage with your business. And what we typically see is it was more than one thing, back to the touch points. In Google Analytics, you can set up goals for like people that set up an appointment, or people that subscribe to your newsletter, right? Having some sort of goals in place that if they reach these certain pages on your site, that check marks goal achieved or something like that. And then over time, you can track those. So this is a screenshot of Google Analytics for one of our clients from January to June of 2020. So the big thing about this particular one, they got just short of 1,100 leads in that 6-month time frame. The big thing here was this thing that we now call a pandemic that happened. And, you can see they were closed for 4 weeks or 6 weeks in middle of April. Their leads didn't really slow down a lot, right? Because they had the things in place to build the system out. The other thing you'll notice here is over on the right, 800 of those leads were phone calls, and 156 were people filling out the form. So people engage with your business in different ways, as I'm sure you know, but being able to track those different things. And you can even see down here, 12 people asked for the Hunter Douglas catalog, 67 people downloaded the design guide, right? So there are different ways, but you can track all of that. Beyond that, call tracking, again, having phone numbers everywhere that forward to your regular line, but they're trackable backwards. So Renee, I think she said she had to go, but when she does the Clipper magazine, she puts a special phone number in there as well. So she knows if that magazine is generating that lead, and if that money that she spent on it was worthwhile. So here's a really cool little thing you can do. Pull up your website